Nothing happened. It's a sentence that sounds reassuring. It's a sentence that makes adults exhale. Nothing illegal. Nothing reportable. Nothing obvious. And yet, in that stillness, there's a window that often goes unnoticed. Today, I want to sit with that window, to name it, explore it, to invite you, without fear, into what it might mean for your child, your family, and for the adults around you. I'm Anna Sonoda, licensed clinical social worker, and this is Known and Trusted. This episode isn't about blame or panic. It is about awareness. Grooming, the deliberate work of gaining influence over a child, is rarely loud. And most often, it is misinterpreted or misread. Yet, parents can learn to see it. Not with fear, not with suspicion, but with clarity, presence, and language that works. Research proves that over 90% of child sexual abuse is committed by someone the child knows and trusts, and that the family knows and trusts. Nearly 90% of survivors experienced grooming behaviors, sometimes a dozen or more of these behaviors, before anything illegal occurred. This is the inconvenient truth. Waiting for something to happen or waiting for the law to catch up is waiting far too long. And most parents are never taught this. Most parents only learn after the harm occurs. Grooming, as we've discussed in previous episodes, is a little like carbon monoxide. Undetectable, odorless, silent, dangerous precisely because it cannot be detected with our senses alone. Your gut is like a smoke detector, excellent at alerting you when there's visible danger, but carbon monoxide requires a device, a system that detects what your senses cannot. So too with grooming. Intuition is necessary, but insufficient. We need early detection systems, structure, visibility, and what this episode is mostly about, language. Most parents hesitate because they ask, "Nothing illegal has happened. Should I act?" Here's the truth. Legality is a late-stage signal. By the time laws are broken, access has been established, emotional loyalty has shifted, oversight is reduced, grooming momentum is largely entrenched. Most early grooming behaviors are completely legal. Extra attention, unsupervised time, special privileges, emotional closeness, adult indispensability. Safety is not a legal threshold. Waiting for laws to be broken means waiting far too long. Many parents fear Child Protective Services or Department of Family and Children Services, thinking, if I call, I'm accusing someone of abuse. CPS exists to provide clarity when confusion is all around you. They help families to understand patterns that may be difficult to see. They introduce visibility that interrupts grooming. They act before anything illegal occurs. Calling does not declare guilt. It says something doesn't make sense yet, and I need help sorting it out. Visibility alone disrupts grooming momentum. That is prevention in action. I want to share a moment from my own life. I saw an adult becoming increasingly helpful with a child. More rides home, more time, more access. Every step made sense. Everything felt benign. Nothing illegal, nothing reportable, nothing that would have triggered an alarm. But I noticed a quiet shift. Fewer and fewer adults being involved, more and more reliance on one individual, small privileges quietly accumulating over time. At that time, I didn't act. I hesitated, and I felt the weight of what I should have noticed. This is the moment parents often freeze. But you can act now, before harm occurs, with clarity, not fear. Let's talk about the words that restore balance. Grooming thrives on silence, hesitation, and politeness. Parents notice access increasing, oversight decreasing, but freeze because they don't know what to say or how to say it. Here is a simple, powerful framework. Instead of reacting emotionally, speak structurally. Instead of accusing an individual, reset the system. This is about who we are, not about who any one person is. These are the standards and expectations that we have set for our children in order to participate or show up somewhere. If these expectations cannot be upheld or respected, we will make a decision about the fit of this environment for our family. When access increases, instead of saying, more one-on-one time is fine, I guess, try saying, we're keeping shared oversight on all activities. When one person becomes indispensable, instead of saying, I feel like you're the only one who really understands my child, try saying, we rotate adults, so no one person is the only point of contact. When rules quietly change, instead of thinking, should I just let it slide? Try saying, we're returning to consistent expectations. When you feel off balance or unsure, instead of saying, I don't know if this is a problem, try saying, let's bring in another adult to keep everyone on the same page. And if someone pushes back, saying, don't you trust me? Try saying, this is not about trust. It is about maintaining safe structure for both children and adults. These phrases are calm, neutral, and immediately actionable. They introduce visibility, restore balance, and interrupt grooming, all before anything illegal occurs. Take a moment here to pause and notice. Ask yourself, who has influence over your child? Who sets the rules and expectations? Is there anyone quietly consolidating influence or power over your child or family? You do not need proof. You do not need fear. You need clarity, calm language, and intentional visibility. This episode is not an invitation to panic. It's an invitation to reorient. You are not meant to watch everything. You are not meant to investigate people. You are not meant to carry this alone. You're meant to notice when access increases, when influence consolidates, when oversight decreases, and when confusion grows instead of resolves. That's not fear, it is discernment. When nothing illegal has happened, you still have options. You can always slow things down, reinsert structure, add supervision, ask more adults to be present, seek consultation, request outside clarity. You do not need permission. You do not need certainty. And you do not need a crime to occur. You are allowed to protect before damage ever has a chance to happen. If you remember one thing from this episode, let it be this. Nothing happened is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the window where prevention works. Waiting for illegality is waiting too long. Waiting for fear is unreliable. Waiting for harm is unnecessary. Clarity is available earlier. If this episode gave you language for a moment you've struggled to name, please share it. Follow and subscribe. Send it on to a parent who's parenting alongside you, to a teacher, or to a neighbor or family member who may benefit from this message. If you have any stories you'd like to share, email me at contact@annasonoda.com. As always, for more information, you can explore past interviews and resources on my website, read or listen to Duck Duck Groom, and survivors and their families can always explore the guided journal alone or with a licensed therapist. And remember, show up, look up, and speak up. because the moment when nothing happened yet is exactly when prevention works. My name is Anna Sonoda, and this has been another episode of Known and Trusted.